Hey, battery power bricks. I don't know if you can hear me. I have no idea. I don't know. I think my volume's on. So this is, I don't use live too many times, but I decided to do a second live because more people are joining before I got finished. So, oh, perfect. Yeah, I got two batteries. This one's dead now. Although I'm, running my laptop too, so it's probably drawing more than it should. So I just put the camera on top of my building, and so you get a live look at the layout. Doing a live on YouTube right now.
Nice.
Why not? I'm not good at lives, but whatever. Let's move it around a few times. Put it here. I don't want the camera to fall over. And live can only be portrait, not landscape, which always bothered me because I like to do the video of my layouts in landscape because you get a wider thing. Right now it's kind of like whatever. Anyway, it is what it is. There are deficiencies in the layout that I still have to work on before Bricks in a 6. We got lots of announcements. So one of the deficiencies that I've noticed, well, first of all, the copper is not, well, it's been working. Let's talk about that for a sec. So we got the two train controllers, which are plugged into that battery box, but there's two train controllers. One's controlling this set of rails, and one's actually controlling the actual train track, which is 9 volt, and you can see the train going around, which has been running flawlessly the entire show. But this guy here, you might say, hey Dave, there's a battery in the back. Well, you can also see it's not connected. So that guy's been running off the copper the entire show, all weekend, without issue, complete, fantastically well. This guy, on the other hand, on top here, the pickups broke off. Pardon? This one is. It's got a battery on it. This one's getting powered from the rails. And this one's getting powered from the rails. But the rest of them have batteries. Like there's a
monorail. That one looks like it's still, this one's still powered.
Yeah, so it's got a battery box right there.
Oh, it's an engine block.
Yeah, it's just a 9 volt battery inside.
An engine car.
Yeah. And that one has a battery in those
that
blue.
one also has a power board.
Yeah. Well, that one's just not connected though, so it's just.
This is so vintage. This space.
It is vintage, 1978.
What?
Yeah, that's how old I am. and this is a set that I got for my 11th birthday.
Is that the Space Explorer?
This is, yeah, the little one-man ship, 918.
That looks like the upgraded Space.
Yeah, so the 928, the Galaxy Explorer, they just re-released it, the new version of it. And that's the alternate build for that guy. So the new Galaxy Explorer is too big for the layout. It's way too big. It'll hang over everything. It's way too heavy. It's a really big model. So I didn't bother bringing mine. I just brought the original sets and that guy.
That's so nostalgic.
Yeah. It's actually nice. I do like it because I've always had it in my mind that my space guys that I got when I was a kid should have a place to work and live. So you can see they have the little quarters here where they're all sleeping and doing all their work. And then this is their habitat. They got the cafeteria inside there and the gym and all that stuff. This is where they live. This is where they work. This is where they launch rockets from. So I always wanted that. It's been in my head since I was 11 years old. So now it's here. It only took 44 years. So I take all the pictures you want, absolutely. So the copper track has been working flawlessly here, but not up here because the pickups broke off. And the issue with the copper track, so what I do is Well, let's go from the top. There's 150 pieces of monorail track in this layout. There are 150 pieces of monorail, which when you're setting them all up for every show, takes a lot of time. So what I did is I grouped my monorails into sections. So you got this one piece of monorail and this piece of monorail and that piece of monorail. They stay together. So these three pieces stay together. And whenever there's a blue 1x4 tile, is where you take it apart after the show's over. So instead of setting up 150 pieces of monorail at a show, I only have to put together 50 groups of monorail pieces at a show, which takes 2/3 less time because I got rid of, 50 instead of 150. So you got here and here and here. So wherever these seams are is fantastic because you don't have to worry about it. But wherever you have to put a blue together, the copper bends over the edge. Now the copper stays on the top of the monorail piece just fine. It never moves. But when it comes over the edge and comes down where they join here, and that's where you have to attach them together anyway because you have to have the power to go through, it doesn't stick. The copper tape does not stick to the front or the face of the seams. And so those pieces always flick up and down and they bend a lot. And you can see, if you get in real close, there's always these stupid little bends here which make a little bubble, a little hump. And then this guy can't go over it very well. So I have to smooth them down, which can break that piece until you don't get the copper connection to the next piece. So it's not 100% show ready, which is why I haven't done it to all my other loops of monorail. So you see there's no copper on here and there's no copper on here because sometimes it doesn't work. And if it's not show ready, I don't want to put a lot of effort into it. So this one was working until this show. I have to get it fixed now. That one's always been relatively good, but still, even when I set it up for every show, I have to go and smooth out all the bumps in it. And the copper oxidizes, which means when it sits in my garage all winter long, for example, and I go to my first show, it takes a while for that thing to get through the entire layout and get rid of all the tarnish on the copper so it runs smoother, right? So I always have to babysit for the first 5 or 10 minutes at a show, which doesn't help. So I have to come up with a better solution. But I do want to come up with a better solution instead of just going back to batteries. There are 4 monorail loops. 2 are unpowered and 2 are powered. As I say, this one top one here is really small. It's just a circle. And right now, as they say, the power pickups are gone off of this guy. They broke off in this show for the first time in like 5 years. So now I have to replace those, which is what happens. So that guy, I put the battery. So all my monorails have the ability to go back to battery. So there's a battery right on the back here. So all my monorails have the ability to go back to battery if the copper's not working. Even that guy has a battery in it, a battery case in it, but there's no battery in there, and you can see there's no wire connecting to the motor. And well, let's just show you when it comes over here. You can see there are pickups on the bottom, like your old school. Oh, I have to put this down. Like your old school slot cars. So that's how the pickups work. It's like an old school slot car. And it works. So I'm using one right now on this show, one monorail that's running off of copper with no battery, and 3 monorail loops that are working with batteries. I do want to get to the point where they're all working off a copper track, because then I can RCX it. Then I can actually do stuff. I can put a button somewhere that stops all the trains. I can do some programming, because the RCX will power these rails. I've done it so the RCX does power these rails, and then the RCX can control the train. So the train can go to specific stops. As a matter of fact, if you go back in my YouTube channel, you can find them, but I have light detectors here and here to detect when a train is here and here. The monorails are here and here. And then you can actually time it. So this is a station, that's a station over there, and this is a station over here. So the train will stop at all these individual stations because it's controlled by the RCX. So it does work at home, but it never seems to want to work at a show. So that's the issue. I do have to fix it. I have to come up with a better solution than the copper track, but I want something that will power the monorails externally so I don't have to have battery boxes. But nothing's 100% yet. I'm still working on it. Here's some more stuff. The other thing is, I just noticed small things. Like that is just a big bank of blue with nothing in it besides the windows. And I do like my little yellow, black, yellow squares that I have everywhere. So I'm going to put some yellow, black, yellow there, yellow, black, yellow there, and yellow, black, yellow there, just to break this up of just this wall of blue. And like it'll like match the yellow, black, yellow all the way through here on the base. And add more, I won't call it greebles, but more doodads around the layout like that. That's the only one I have on a monorail track. So I want to add more doodads around like here and there over there, just to add something a little more visually stunning. I like the little tiny brick built craters. Those are always nice. But add some more little details, nifty details around the layout, because again, it doesn't add to my time setting up. Because again, the base plates go into the box with all this stuff on it, including the minifig. So I can add stuff at home, add details to the crater plates and the base plates over there that'll just sit there. So I do want to add more little details. I do, well, and this is going to be a big thing, I do want to rebuild the entire repair bay, because right now the door does go up and down. But again, it's not 100%, so I got a better way of doing it. I just have to tear apart that entire module in order to fix it, which is a big endeavor, as they say. Not much else at this point, because Bricks in the Six, the Bricks in the Six convention is coming up at the end of July, and I really want to focus on the wiring to make sure the lighting's all going to work. I have to build more light stanchions that which will go onto those little black squares that I have everywhere. So I want to make sure I have good lighting for the show, because that's the first time it's going to be in a lights out situation, and I want it to be good. I talked to David St. Cyr. I also want to, on this piece here, extend it out to here, so it will be my moon base compatible, because this is too low to connect to from a table. So I do want to get some moon base corridors connections. There's going to be one there and one there that comes out to here. So that is going to be something I'm going to be working on. So when I'm doing the show in September with Dave St. Cyr, I will be able to have a moon base corridor connection. As you look at the table here and you look at my layout, the layout is lower than the tabletop. And most moon bases are on top of these standard tables, and that's a good 3 or 4 inches lower. So I want to be able to connect to other people's moon bases, but the only place I can do it nicely is back here, there and there, because I already have that guy built. I did have at one point, this corridor came straight out here, and you can see some tiles here that would have a moon base corridor connection on this side. But it was just obtrusive, and it does interfere with my wonderful, wonderful monorail station, and I don't want to interfere with my wonderful, wonderful monorail station. Oh, another note is I put this little laptop out here, this little tablet, that's running Pete's video of my layout continuously that we did at his studio a few months back. People love that. That was nice to see. Looks like this guy's dead. It's at the end of the show, so I think, yeah, that battery's dead. It is what it is. I'm not going to worry about it because the show is almost done. So this is what we got. We do an overall layout view like that, and then maybe come up here. So when people walk up to it, this is what they see. Still have that. I might paint that over because OBV doesn't exist anymore. But that's awesome. People like that. And then, of course, there's my YouTube channel that you're watching this on anyway, so you already know what my YouTube channel is. Oh, so this is one thing that I'm going to talk about now. I lost a minifig this show. Somebody must have reached in and grabbed it. There was a minifig here. You see a whole bunch of minifigs, but it was a light blue minifig. I think it was from Galaxy Squad. And he was right there. I don't know when he disappeared, but it's gone. I noticed that today. So, c'est la vie. That's what happens. But overall, oh, and there's my new painting on my boxes. Fantastic. I think that worked out well. So that's the other thing I'm going to be doing really, really quickly is I'm going to be getting the plexiglass barriers attached to the runners, which I've been thinking about for a while. Just get some plexiglass and be able to bolt it to the runners here, at least on the 3 sides. And so people can't reach in to grab stuff. Make it maybe about 24 inches tall, so they can't reach in. So that's what I'm going to be working on. I'm going to get some pricing on so I'm going to get some pricing on some plexiglass. So it just has to be 30 inches long by 24 inches high, and there'll be 2 here, and then 3 there, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 on the other side. So 7 pieces of plexiglass. It doesn't have to be thick plexiglass, and I'm going to be able to bolt it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get those grommets. I'm going to like put them in here, one there and one there, and then just wing nut or wing bolt into the plexiglass to hold it there. So it's going to be a really quick setup and takedown. But after I lost a minifig today, I'm going to have to do that, which is, it's not bothering me because again, I do happen to have lots of minifigs. So it is what it is. I probably lost other minifigs before, but I wouldn't notice if I lose a yellow minifig or a red minifig. But I noticed if I lost a light blue minifig, which has always been on the layout since the dawn of time. So they're gone. I'm sure it was just a little kid that just saw it and grabbed it. I'm sure it wasn't malicious in intent because they would have taken something else if there was somebody maliciously taking something. But it's gone now. I do not have any more Galaxy Squad. I think it was Galaxy Squad. Minifigs. So the other thing that worked out spectacularly well are the reinforcements, the flying buttresses, or whatever you're going to call it, that holds up the landing pads. And if you come way back here and you go right down, you can see those landing pads are perfectly flat. And if you look at some old videos or old pictures of the layout, yeah, very much not mad, just disappointed, exactly right. But you can see how flat those landing pads are now, which has been a long time since I first built this layout. I was building about 10 years ago. It's been a long time since because they droop after a while. The Technic beams must stretch a little bit because they were drooping. And it was getting more noticeable with every single show. But over the winter, I built those supports underneath. They are as small as I wanted them to be. They're not obtrusive. If you get right down, so it's a couple of Technic axles there, and a couple joints there, and a connection there, and at the bottom here. And that made that and it's easy to set up. It doesn't add 2 minutes to the setup, which is what I wanted. And so I'm very happy about them, and I'm very happy that the landing pads are very stable now. So that made me happy. That was a huge bonus for me, because as the shows were going on for the last bunch of years, I was noticing that pads were drooping more and more. And I was getting more and more concerned that they would just fall off at some point. So that's fixed now. And now I have the debate, because now I have those things there. The reason why the landing pads are so close to here, they're only like 2 studs out from the building, is because I wanted to stop the droop. So now that I have these things, the idea is maybe I can extend the landing pads out 4 or 6 studs. Now, years ago when I first started designing the landing pads connected, I did a bunch of trials, and I had the diamond shape already, and the landing pads were built right into it. They came right back to here. They curved right into here, and then they came out. They were built right in. So that was one piece, and I said, oh, that's gonna stop, because that's just one big, huge piece I have to carry around. And so I rebuilt it at home and separated the landing pads from the actual building. And I brought them out about 10 or 12 studs And it looks stupid. If there are 10 or 12 studs out, it looked like way too far out. And so I brought them back to about 2 studs out. And I like that. You can see that there's a little tiny gap here, right? But I'm thinking if it's 4 studs out, or if it's a lot of work to add 2 extra studs to make them farther out, I mean, that's not too bad there, like that, right? But I'm thinking if they come out just a little bit more, it might be better. It looks like my cell phone's gonna die. so I might wrap this up pretty soon. But that will not be done before Bricks in the 6th, by the way, because that's a complete rebuild. So of either the landing pads or the diamond to make them come out farther. But I'm gonna try a few things. Other than that, this thing is not lit up at all because the lighting in here is far too bright, and we're running off a battery. We're running off of that battery right now, and I didn't want to waste more battery life converting 12 volts back into 120 volts because I need to run the whole show. But at Bricks in the 6, this will all be lit up. And so that's going to be my focus for the next 6 weeks is I'm going to take out every module, make sure it's working, make sure it's lit up, make sure it's easy to connect. I'm going to build a wooden box just for the electrical, so it'll match these guys. But it'll be a lot smaller. It'll have a couple train controllers in it. I may take out some of my copper track for this guy. I think I have enough already copperized to do that entire loop. So that's what I'm going to be working on. So I do have some work in front of me. So 23 minutes. Thanks, Battery Powered Bricks, for your wonderful comments. And I'm sure we'll talk more as the weeks progress between now and the next show. Yeah, so that's it. My voice is getting hoarse and my battery's going to die. So I'm going to say thanks for watching, and I hope everybody's doing well, and I'll talk to everybody soon. Take care.